Okay, this is another thing I've been meaning to get around to for a while. Hello World in Japanese characters. Katakana or hiragana, I'm not sure. Um, so I ran into this when working on a maze program, making either a two-dimensional array of characters or a raw string literal. This R business here, which can be convenient, but the overscore character, not an underscore, but an overscore, also called a macron when it's over a character similar to an umlaut in German, a special diacritic marker. But the Unicode, this is cute. So if we copy that and paste it here, and I print maze, um, no, this would be a W string, I guess. Well, anyways, didn't mean to get into that rabbit hole. Um, but to do it more simply, if I try to print this character, it gets misinterpreted. At least it was getting misinterpreted. Let me do some exclamation marks here. Okay, so there's this nonsense in the 7, and then we have ding, 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 and and so we have 1, 2, 3, and then we're getting confused. So this character, how is it interpreted? It is not being printed at the moment. Let me call it some stuff out. All right, we print the question mark because we're not sure how to deal with this character because the current the code page by default is this 437. Code page is actually not related strongly to it's not, I thought on previous occasions that looking through the character map might show what code page, like this whole block corresponds to a certain code page maybe, but it seems maybe it's not that simple. So code page 437 is listed here. It's nice to see a table of this finally. It's interesting that these characters that are here are not exactly corresponding to the typical ASCII, the 8-bit ASCII set. The non-printable characters from 0 to 30, they're not corresponding. We see the heart symbol and the diamond symbol and so forth at these early values. So it's not a, whereas in contrast for the character 0, we print the symbol null or start of whatever this is, end of transmission, ACK, NAC, etc. Um, okay, so at any rate, code page 437 doesn't, it seems it doesn't have an overbar character, which is just convenient for drawing. I think it's convenient for drawing a maze, like the top of the maze is the character. It's like this. All right. And the bottom of the maze is also like this, or it's an underscore. Maybe I'm sure I'm overthinking how to approach this as usual. But at any rate, if we would like to print Hello World in Japanese, previously I've done this by writing it out to a file, and I think I may have recorded those videos. Writing this out to a file and Notepad, the software Notepad is more complicated than the terminal. Um, you can change the code page with the command chcp. 65,001 is UTF-8, so a much wider range of characters, and I haven't dug into Unicode encoding in great detail. But if we change the code page, we can print. Let me. I'm trying to do that actually. Okay, so now we printed that character correctly after changing code page to 65,001. If we go back and we say CHCP, the default is 437. So there's some way I could change from 437, but I'm not necessarily nervous about doing that, but maybe it's not worth it. Um, okay, now if we try to echo that same character, well, it does get echoed. Interesting. Anyhow, well, I guess we try to echo this now. Yeah, that also gets echoed. All right, maybe Echo has some fancy functionality, but to go back to Hello World in Japanese, I've done this previously before, this imbue and setting the locale. So this is the Unicode value for the overscore character. Notice that we're having to use wide cout because I think cout only allows 1 byte characters or something like this. Okay, so if we don't change the code page on this terminal, okay, we do see that. Oops. Now this was that's nice. The hint that's appearing, you can see this 2 bytes, and that is the correct character, the Japanese character. That okay. Now we're printing question marks, so that's interesting because on the previous run, maybe that's because I had changed the code page 65,001 in the other instance of the terminal that I had open. Okay, it prints a question mark, which is what I was expecting to happen earlier, because we didn't change the code page from its default. If we say system chcp here, this should say 437. Yes, okay, 437 is incapable of printing this guy. The hint knows the tooltip knows what this character is, interestingly, but the terminal is not smart enough to figure it out, unless, so to speak, unless we change the code page. Now, if we run this, we see all the characters that we wanted to see. Okay, so got into some detail I didn't intend to get into, but that's a decent exposure to how to write in the terminal, write characters from other languages. Maybe we look up Russian. Привет, мир. And we copy this and notice that this doesn't, before we do that replacement, notice that this won't work. Yeah, it prints question mark, so it does have to be wrapped in that L, which indicates like a wide string or something like this. Um, a wide character, okay. A wide character array, an array of wide characters. Wide meaning wider than 1 byte. So surely, well, it's likely that Russian is also in this. Oops. Another new line gets interpreted there instead of standard inline. It could be a problem. Okay, there we go. So we got our nice Russian characters as well. Cyrillic characters, I think, are they're called. Okay, and I haven't attempted to go into detail on setting a locale and this global class, but it's fairly straightforward, I suppose. English, United States, UTF-8. Um, maybe they're, uh, yeah, I haven't attempted to go into detail on it. Okay.